welcome to the Biohackers live show. My name is Teemu Arina.
And with Teemu is Olli Sovijärvi. How are you doing?
Welcome to the studio. This is the last week of Biohackers live shows before the Biohackers Summit that we are having in Stockholm, Sweden. And in Stockholm, we have some pretty amazing lineup coming. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Teemu has been doing such an amazing job with this team, and I'm just looking really forward to hear all these great speakers and the topic about peak recovery, not just peak performance, but peak recovery and optimization of recovery. So that's like the topic of the day that people should consider mastering.
Absolutely. And today's Biohackers live show is all about optimizing recovery. I mean, I've been setting up the Biohackers Summit and I was making some videos last night, and I haven't slept that much, I have to say, but on the weekend I got some sleep, and we're going to look at my data also and see how screwed or how well kind of tuned I am for this week. So with that, I mean, our guest today is going to be Hannu Kinnunen. And he's one of the pioneers, definitely, when it comes to wearables. I mean, he has a long background. Hannu Kinnunen is wearable pioneer, inventor, and chief science officer of Oura. Oura makes these cool rings. Olli has the previous version. I have the new one. And Hannu Kinnunen is the brains behind the science that makes this ring do what it does. It's the most advanced wearable that is tracking your vital signs. And with he has a long career at heart rate monitor makers, for example, Polar. He's been working on these algorithms. And it's something about these Finnish people, you know, when they kind of get excited about some technology and they, you know, go deep into their basements and they work for something for 20 years, something absolutely fantastic comes out of it. When you look at heart rate monitoring and the data coming from there, we have a lot of pioneering companies here in Finland. We have Polar, we have Suunto, we have also Firstbeat, and you know, looking at heart rate variability algorithms, looking at all the sensors, all the technology that goes into it, looking at Nokia, for example, as a phone manufacturer. Actually, I think our team also has some people with a background at Nokia. So, you know, all these semiconductor skills and all that kind of comes together with mobile software and hardware sensors. That's what Oura is. I mean, it's a marvel of technological developments. So Hannu has been credited dozens of patents and scientific articles on the field of heart rate-based signal processing, fuzzy signal detection, and the analysis of activity training, recovery, and sleep, which I didn't get much last night. Anyway, so let's dive deep into the interview. Hey, Hannu, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Great to be here.
Welcome to the show, man.
Welcome to the show. So you have been busy launching the new ring. I assume there has been a lot of things going on in the office. So I appreciate so much that you're here with us for this interview.
Yes, of course. Yes, even though like most of the calculations and metrics we are having or embedding in this new ring are pretty much similar that was with the previous generation. There are still some new things, great things on the algorithm side, and then also like all the sensors are new. They are like so like small and a little bit higher quality sensors. So the work has kept me busy. Yes, but it's fantastic.
It's just amazing to be able to do work that you just love and have passion about, and you know it's going to help so many people. Like we can speak about tens of thousands of people to get to know how they actually sleep and how they recover. That's amazing. I've been like pushing forward to this huge innovation to as many people as possible, because that's a tool that you didn't have before. You had like a different kind of attempts to give you this information, but this has really done it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Applause for that. Done it for Olli. Good. So, Hannu, like, what got you interested in wearables? Like, what's the story behind that? Like, how did you get tangled with all this?
So I joined Polar already, like doing my master's thesis, and the topic was their heart rate variability and artifact reduction and overall application of heart rate variability. Over the years, I almost lost my interest because it was so sensitive to the condition where you take the measurement. And but now, like after really measuring heart rate variability overnight, I really like regained my full interest in heart rate variability and how it reflects the overall recovery. But then, of course, working at Polar, it was also a lot about measurement and documenting your training and exercise, and also some recovery analysis, what we did there, and also like understanding how heart rate variability could be used to enhance your for the correct timing of your highest intensity exercise. Mm-hmm. So it was like a natural jump then to start to analyze sleep. And for me personally, it was also an opportunity to learn more machine learning based analysis, because then for some time I was entirely free from other responsibilities. I was able to concentrate on with my MATLAB for almost like 2 years. So it was great time for me, and really this journey has changed my understanding a little bit, because before it was like documenting and tracking what somebody does during the day. And now it's more like understanding how you organize your 24 hours to optimally serve what's most important in your life, and when your body is like ready for its aspect during the 24 hours. So like for me, it's like real like game changer to understand, from having like this kind of linear, do this and this and this and this to succeed in your successful, rather than organize, think what's important in your life and organize them in a 24-hour.
This device is such a pioneering feat. The first trackers were mainly about tracking like numbers, like how many steps you take or how many kilometers you've been running. Or it might have been, what's your heart rate at this moment? If it went a little bit more sophisticated, it might tell you if you were spending your time at specific heart rate zone. But it was all about the data. And that was also the first generation of sleep trackers, where mainly looking at how many hours you slept. And some of them implemented kind of a sleep quality metric. But still, it's not telling you anything about your unique individual balance. And that's what really Oura has, I would say, not just pioneered, but also invented in a way, is a way to put together metrics and data coming from your day-to-day activities and exercise and steps, and looking at sleep data. And the fact that you are also measuring not just the different phases of sleep, but also your nervous system recovery, that brings an idea or it enables us to better quantify you against your own average. And the way how you look at kind of like if you're deviating from your standard time when you should go to sleep, or if you're deviating from your normal sleep quality or body temperature, it's kind of that deviation from the norm that makes this device so interesting. So it's not about comparing me to what would be the optimal highest level of sleep quality, but it's about what is good sleep for me, or what is good activity and recovery for me. And that makes it so much more interesting, so much more useful. And I assume that's also the key reason why the engagement of your device is so much higher than many of those activity trackers and wearables that only tracked steps, and people would abandon them in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. It's like always like the compromise, because in order to be like interesting and get the people like understand, we always need to simplify matters a little bit. But I think this Oura is a good compromise between like the complexity of real life and the simplicity how we would like to see our life and make us successful. Like one very important aspect for me personally is that it should these kind of devices should not be about competing against each other, and hardly even for competing against your own records. And it's like a very important fact that we have these various scores, like activity score, readiness score, and sleep score.
Yeah. So what do you mean? Like 10,000 steps is not something I should strive for?
Okay. Well, it's a good limit, but but what I mean is that like 85 is considered excellent. And if your sleep score is 85, maybe it's better for you to concentrate on something else than sleep, to make something significant with all that energy that you have.
Okay, Hannu, I have one question. What if my sleep score is consistently all the time less than 85? What should I concentrate on?
Then really sleep is a good thing to concentrate, because
why is that?
Even though you are like a very intelligent and creative, but I think especially this inspiring creativity part of you would increase if you sleep a little bit more. If you look at the benefits of exercise, almost all of them are such that you will also reach them by sleeping better. So you hardly lose anything, but you would gain a lot, and especially in REM sleep. You would get more REM sleep if you sleep more. So it's not acutely important for an adult.
Right.
It's not as important as the deep non-REM sleep in the beginning, first part of the night. You will most probably get that even if you sleep 5 hours or 6 hours a night, and you can tolerate. You can make it from day-to-day requirements.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't learn, and I wouldn't be as creative.
Yes, but the most complex things that require like, it's different kind of learning where you need memory and so it's this part of you that really and would benefit from a little more. But but you still like a sleep score between like 70 and 85 in Oura metrics. It's still okay. So it's important to understand that it's not that bad.
My experience on Oura has been exactly that by learning certain things that, okay, my readiness today, for example, 81, and my sleep score was 80. So that's like pretty good for me, and I want to keep it over 80, and I regulate my training and other stuff according to that. And I've found significantly more balance with Oura than before, just that I can actually reprogram myself what I actually want to do, what I don't want to do. For example, yesterday I worked out like 3 hours in the garden and did heavy sprinting and a lot of stuff, and it was like a super active day. And what I've noticed, if I have like a super high intensity, very active, like a big load of exercise, my REM sleep goes down. So that's been a case for me, and I've noticed that like very precise. Noticed what I mean is that if the training volume and the intensity is too much, the REM sleep goes down, at least for me, and my deep sleeps tends to go up. But if I keep it like medium intensity, then it doesn't affect REM sleep at all, but it improves deep sleep.
I see.
So there are a lot of things you can play with this data and just compare it how it's affecting yourself. And not try to, okay, my sleep score is 81. How big is yours?
So I have exactly the same experience with Oura. It's basically giving me so deep questions about myself and my own patterns. And sometimes I observe things that I would probably never been able to realize without Aura. And one of those examples, recent examples, was basically the way how heavy sauna and steam bathing affects the nervous system recovery throughout the night. And in my experience, basically, if I go to sauna too late and I do a really heavy set just before going to sleep, I'm not getting enough of that heart rate variability that night. It takes like 4 or 5 hours to normalize. So what I've started to do is to go to sauna if I'm going to go for a heavy thing, and also cold plunges. I'm going to do that earlier the day. And that way it actually improves my sleep that night. Or if I have to do, or if not have to, if I have the privilege, which I should have every day, to go to sauna or, take a dip, I'm not going to do it as heavily. So then I get the recovery that night as well. So those are some simple realizations of using this device. And I think that's what makes these kind of tools really meaningful and useful. What do you think?
Yeah, about what you just read, this only story about increased deep sleep as a result of exercise is like a great story, but you appear to be like good. Your recovery capacity is good because your body reacts this positive way. Like myself, if I have a late exercise, it decreases my deep sleep. So I need to go a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So morning exercise is really good for me, and I have reached my best marathon running experience by doing moderate intensity rather than high intensity, and so it really works for me because recovery seems to be the limiting factor for me.
Yeah.
But still, I have gained pretty good results in
How is age playing into that? I mean, I'm 36 now. Kind of, I'm worried. When should I start worrying getting old?
I think age certainly is a factor, but we are also individuals, so you can follow that. But with age we become more morning people overall. So it also helps to move our trainings a little earlier. And like your experience with sauna, it's the same. Like some young people might be less sensitive, so to say. So
it's interesting that you said about the recovery. So you can actually compare your genetic data and Aura data. And for me, for example, is that my muscle recovery, it's pretty fast, but my tendency to get injuries is higher. And I've seen that I would really have to push super hard to get my deep sleep diminished. Usually it gets even more, and I'm assuming, for example, this night I get even more deep sleep because today is more of a recovery or active recovery day. So the main point is that what I've read from the Oura Ring users Facebook group is that people who tend to overtrain or train too much, especially cardio type of training, they tend to get a lot less deep sleep. And I would want to give an answer to them that, okay, you have to diminish your training load and then see what happens to your deep sleep.
Right. And strength training seems to be one thing that for me improves the amount of deep sleep that I'm getting. I'm a total REM sleep hog. I'm getting almost 4 hours of REM sleep based on the data. For you, that's kind of you need to supplement that.
Yeah, that's a rarity. I usually get 1.5 hours to 2 hours or maybe more. But when I was in the summer cottage, I made an experiment. I took this Tuni supplement, which is basically
what's in it?
It's pumpkin seeds in this
tryptophan
powder. So basically, it's tryptophan in a bioactive form, and then I took microdose of melatonin and 1 gram of magnesium. Yeah. So then I got 3.5 hours REM sleep, which is very rare for me. So you can play with this kind of stuff if you want to.
But it can excess REM sleep can also mean, Teemu, that you are a little bit morning type of person and you go to bed a little too late.
Really?
So
No,
Damn it. I've been a night owl all my life, and looking at the genetics, I've convinced myself that that's for me. Tell me more.
No. I really don't know exactly, but if the challenge with early, like REM sleep starting too early, is that you don't get enough deep sleep. If that would be the case, so
that's super interesting point. So these are exactly the things that we want to hear from you, like these patterns that you have recognized. Okay, that if you start REM sleep too early, then you don't get enough deep sleep, and like things like that. Do you have anything else that you want to highlight on like these kind of things? If you like have too much of something.
Yeah, okay. Of course, it's also possible that there's some part of that 4 hours of REM sleep is explained by like some artifacts. So the ring is not 100% sure, but always there is a reason why it's showing so. So there is more. So for me, even if there's some kind of this kind of obvious biases, that's a little bit too much REM sleep for Teemu. It's still telling like a real fact, something about these signals, that because this REM sleep is associated with like more variable heart rate, it's more variable breathing rate, and more variable pulse amplitude. So it means that it's like a real measurement. If you make some changes or like you mentioned something that you have been doing, it's always like obvious that it has caused a real change in your biosignals. So even though I don't take the ring measurements as 100% truth, I take them as an 100% objective measurement of my sleep.
Right.
So, yeah.
So
objective in the sense that you do it every day the same way, and it's very simple to do it every day, same day, because you use the same finger, and it usually fits like the same. So
yes, and because it's so close on your finger, the measurement doesn't need to adjust based on your proximity with the sensor or something like that. It's always similar.
Yeah. It's super good location. Yeah. Anyway, so I've been hustling like away for the last months and years, and somehow I've been able to biohack all of this for the last 4 or 5 years. My biomarkers have been improving. My recovery is getting better. I'm actually pretty good at recovering. Like looking at my HRV, that's often super high, for example. And I don't know if that's the bunch of supplements I'm doing, or the meditation that I do daily, or just my general lack of not getting stressed about things. Like even if there's a lot of stuff, I'm just like, the more there is stuff, the more a machine I become. And
that's really important, and that's something I want to talk shortly. It's like a lot of people are suffering, because of like they are like hyperactive at the time when they should wind down before going to bed. So if you can, Teemu, if you can really be like happy, and you have positive things in your mind when you go to bed, when you go to sleep, it's not only affecting your sleep latency, how far you fall into sleep, but it's also affecting really what's happening throughout the night. So like,
so you're priming yourself up with what's happening during the day for what's happening at night.
Yes. Like it's a kind of surprise to really understand how like huge impact it is. That how is your like final 2 hours before you go to bed, and what kind of things you're thinking. It's like somehow strange to think that if you are a lawyer or a teacher or doctor, CEO and or something, that the most important thing for your sleep quality is what you think before you fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like the most important hack you need to do to improve your sleep is a time, short time before.
My strategy for task management is that I just don't remember it. It's so big. There's so many things on it. So yeah, I mean, you're totally right. One practice that I had for a long time is basically because there's so many things to do. so many things to hustle that I list like 3 things for that day, that if I achieve even one of those, I would be happy for the day. And what I like to do also by the end of the day is to write down into my task list anything that kind of bothers me. So just get it out of my mind, basically. And then I'm good to go. And I really like to have a success by the end of the day, like finalizing a project or one small thing before I go to sleep, read an article, read a book or something. And that really primes me for a sense of achievement for that day. And then I think that I really like earned the sleep that I'm going to get.
Yeah, and that's like different for everybody. That makes you really happy, and some of us want to be more organized, and some of us want to be more like improvise. We want to improvise, but still we will not be like in harmony with our motivations and.
That's right. Talking about motivation, I mean, a lot of people are hustling, and I want to show a little insert of the week from Seamland about hustling, and we're gonna bring in Seam to reflect on getting things done and living your dream.
Are you a hustler? Do you work hard, play hard, train hard, and eat hard?
All of it.
If you just looked at the social media posts of the successful, then you'd think that it's all about the grind and kicking your own ass. However, you can go hard only until you burn yourself out completely.
Life is pointless and nothing matters, and I'm always tired.
Humans and society are already hardwired for instant gratification and immediate results. We want everything now, and everything has to be pleasurable. When you're working hard and grinding your face off, then the first thing that gets neglected is sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is for the weak and wicked.
We will never sleep, because sleep is for the weak.
Well, if that's your mindset, then this kind of thinking will definitely lead to an earlier grave. And it's definitely gonna burn off your candles from both ends. Sleep deprivation is associated with diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, obesity, chronic fatigue, and depression. The best thing about it is that you think you're so clever by only sleeping for 4 hours, just so you could save a few extra hours for being productive. But in reality, your performance and alertness are gonna suffer immensely just because you didn't sleep enough. Even a single night of poor sleep reduces your alertness and focus by up to 30%. It's gonna lower physical, mental, as well as emotional resilience, which primes you to do worse in everything you do. Sleeping less than 5 hours a night increases your chances of dying by about 15%. Whether that be from a sudden heart attack, the accumulation of poor biomarkers and diabetes, or you simply fall off the stairs and break your neck. Sleeping less than you need also makes you a more dangerous person for the entire society. There are many vocations that require your full alertness and wakefulness, like flying airplanes, driving, protecting the peace, doing electricity or surgery. If you want to work hard and play hard, then you also have to have the mindfulness and the discipline to rest hard.
Let me sleep for the love of God!
Recovery is equally as important for high performance than the actual exertion. You have to allow your body and mind to heal themselves before you can actually perform better. And the most important thing for that is sleep. Our environment is very anti-sleep because of social media, cultural myths of hustling hard, and the circadian mismatches of light exposure. If technology can disrupt our sleeping patterns, then it can also help us to optimize it. Sleep tracking is one of the easiest ways of actually forcing yourself to sleep better. You put more accountability on your shoulders thanks to having real quantifiable data on what you do during the night. What gets measured gets managed, and to improve something, you have to know what you're doing wrong in the first place. The best thing about it is that once you start taking your sleep more seriously, then you're going to improve your performance, you're going to feel better, you're going to improve your health, and you're going to get more things done. And if you want to achieve great results in what you do, then you have to be recovered enough.
Just sleep a little faster.
So, work hard, exert yourself, but at the same time, recognize when it's time to recover, and then give yourself the rest that you need.
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling,
Every day I'm hustling.
You have to sleep a little
Yeah,
faster.
to sleep a little more. Seamland, are you there?
I'm here, hustling hard.
You're hustling hard, man. What's up?
Well, at the moment, simply enjoying a good, nice summer weather, basically in Estonia. So it's very rare in these parts of the world, definitely.
Yeah. How does that affect your sleep quality?
Well, they say that it's better to sleep in a colder environment, and I definitely I noticed that I do sleep better when it's slightly cold and not so hot in a sense. But during the day, I think that it can also help to kind of go through this sort of a period where you're kind of putting some sort of thermal stress onto your body, and that's going to have like a beneficial effect on your sleep as well, like an additional source of stressor.
Right. Yeah. For me, what happened basically last night was there's a construction yard on the inner courtyard, and some people started grinding away, extremely early in the morning. And that's the problem if you are a late owl, that you go to sleep late. And, then there is all this working class of people who basically start their day with, grinding away at 7 a.m.
or 6 even.
And that was super hard. And then it was so hot, I couldn't go to sleep again. I have this head around thing, all the light was coming in from everywhere. That was messed up, It was I was primed to get over 7 hours when I went to sleep. But because of this, thank you, Finland. Thank you, Helsinki, for all the construction yards in the summer. Living in a city is a hell. I don't know how you seem are doing that. Is that the problem in Estonia?
Well, I'm living in a natural environment on the
Dude, you're
countryside.
lucky. You're so
yeah,
lucky.
I can show you actually like what's outside. So it's nature all around me.
Oh,
I don't get that much. I don't get construction working people waking me up in the middle of the night. But at the same time, the highway is quite nearby, so I might get triggered in the morning, but it's not that big of a deal because it's not like a hugely populated area.
So about temperature, it's interesting to notice that it's also very hot in Finland at the moment, like plus 25, plus 26. And last night, was the first night that I remember, I was tossing and turning, as the Aura used to say. That I was tossing and turning the whole night, and that's because of the high temperature. And I actually measure the temperature with my scale every night. So I've found an optimal temperature for me to be around 16 Celsius degrees. And last night it was 21.4. So what I've noticed also is that this kind of thing is also lowering my REM sleep. So Hannu, what do you want to say about temperature? What would be an optimal temperature for example, optimal REM sleep?
It must be individual a little bit because what matters is your brain temperature.
Yeah,
and that's why happily why you can be covered by some sheets and blankets, and still the room temperature is affecting your sleep quality so strongly. Almost everybody has experienced what you described, that when the heat strikes, that the sleep quality goes down. But not without this kind of device, you couldn't really measure the difference between say 20, 18 or 16 centigrade. So
mention about the brain temperature, because last night I was feeling body temperature okay, but I was feeling like my brain was boiling, because I was outside 5 to 6 hours or even more, 7 hours yesterday, and in the sun. So that definitely affected the sleep quality, even though I took cold showers actually 2 times and went to Neurosonic to get my nervous system a little calmer. But the temperature variation, that's one thing you definitely want to consider. But what about the temperature that the Aura measures? So that's more like a body.
Should we get the app up, by the way, and take a look? I mean, a lot of people might be listening and wondering what all these numbers are and all that. So,
but only, how was your skin temperature as Aura measured? Was it elevated?
No, it was actually minus 0.2.
Yes, because so Aura is of course it's sitting on a finger, so it's measuring skin temperature, and basically during the night your skin temperature goes up with increased melatonin. It goes goes up, and then further up when if you are like below the blankets, and it's like further. And it's like during the first part of the night, it's typically the highest when during your deepest sleep, and it also can go high later during the evening. So aura is basically getting like following the course of the night and get some of these highest plateaus, like where the temperature goes up, and takes like the representative value for you, and then it's compared to your previous nights from your baseline. And so this kind of 0.2 degrees in centigrade, it's about the error limits that typically can be seen. So if your temperature is more elevated by more than that, the ring will most probably detect it. So like anything like bigger than half a degree, it seems to be very reliable, and that makes it also possible for women to follow their menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
So now we have all this data and my data next to it. So
here's my temperature variation. As you can see, it's pretty stable. What I've noticed about temperature is that if I like move and exercise a lot, and then I don't eat to match the energy consumption, my temperature tends to go a little bit down, and that's probably due to the thyroid hormone production. And what I do is that, okay, my temperature is going down, then I eat a little bit more the next day and take it a little bit more easier. So what I use temperature is also to monitor my recovery. So have you noticed anything about temperature around that?
I think there hasn't been like this kind of systematic analysis because people don't generally have this kind of equipment. So I'm not aware about this kind of. So I only need to interpret what you are saying about like the general knowledge that like resting heart rate goes down also typically if you are on diet and low caloric diet. So I think these two are linked. Like your metabolism is like going down, and I think that's, you don't always want it that way. So that's why you are doing as you described, like some collective.
So let's go back. Like, I mean, let's make this easier for people to understand who are remote. So Olli got last night, his readiness index is 81, and basically we dive deeper into the sleep.
Yeah, so it says I was tossing and turning, which is exactly correct because I was so hot. But still, deep sleep was
6 wake-ups, REM sleep a little bit or 1 hour, deep sleep one hour.
So REM sleep was low for me, deep sleep was like a basic, and I didn't get the REM I normally would. And I account that for like the temperature and the super high activity of the day. So it's pretty interesting to get these like correlations and get to know more about your body and how this function and what affects what. So this is just amazing in that sense too.
My data from yesterday is kind of almost in reverse of yours. So I got a lot of REM sleep and very little deep sleep.
That's usually the case.
Yeah. And my resting heart rate is right there. So this is the new app, and it works kind of that you can go like peeling an onion. You go layer by layer, you go deeper and deeper into the data, and you can tap in and you can see specific data points. So what would you say, Hannu, is the biggest improvement compared to the earlier version of the software?
When we are like talking about your what's happening in your own body, the data is valuable and it's significant. So I somehow get like a feeling that now this visual thing is like somehow like on the same level with the significance of these things. That it's like makes you a little bit sensitive. Oh, how was really, and then these layers because this allow us now like the further development that on the front layer we can add more like messages that are like important for the entire day, and then more like this kind of timeline and then we can add your personal tags and notes on this. It's nicely like the design is ready for further development. And then these layers that you can also dig deeper and see these details on the app level, because basically that's anyway where we want to see like fast what's happening. It's always requires more work to open a like personal computer or laptop to see. So we need to have more details on the app level also. And so I think that's both are important, like this kind of like a theme of the day, that you understand that what your body is ready for today and what's the best times for doing everything. And then these moments, you really find the best times for doing the best things. So this current app design, I like the most. I like this potential that it gives with this theme of the day and moments within a day.
About the new app, I also like how you can easily take a look at the trends. So you can choose here, okay, bedtime start, deep sleep, REM sleep, resting heart rate, or if you want to watch more like this readiness stuff, you can choose body temperature, heart rate variability, readiness score, and respiration rate. So this was, for me, a huge improvement, because this data used to be in the Aura cloud previously, and you would have to go into desktop and search from there. Of course, you can still do it, but I think this is a big improvement in the app.
Yes, it's interesting that if you really want to go back to some interesting date what has happened in your body, it's sometimes hard to remember that when it actually was, unless it was a Christmas Eve or something like Independence Day or something. You really need to see the data and go back and see that, oh, here's the peak. Okay, this was the day when I run the marathon, and see how long it took for my breathing frequency to normalize after that or something.
Yeah, like so these functions also a kind of a diary. So you can see so like an activity diary or a sleep diary, and you can take notes. And I would still want to ask about the notes side. What's the main implementation or the meaning of adding a note?
Some of this analysis, like if you're like thinking like longer span, of course we need to build more artificial intelligence to help people to understand what are the prerequisites for improved sleep, improved daytime readiness and performance. So we need to help people and guide people, because not only show data, but tell them that, oh, did you pay attention, and these things seem to be beneficial for you. If you do these and these things during your week or day, then you will have like this kind of positive things.
Yeah.
Okay. But then also people like need to like they do this kind of self-learning, and they learn that, oh, this was explained by this and this and things, that you can really like give some notes, and then you can see them in your long-term trends that you can track, because sometimes these positive or negative effects come with a delay. So you really would need like this kind of nodes in your long-term trend data that you can really learn the benefits of various tricks.
And it also helps if you have a good like pattern recognition capability. So take a look at the data. But it's very interesting to see where it goes from here.
But these kind of tags that we know that like would be potentially like drivers for better improved sleep or daytime readiness, that you would really have this kind of meaningful tags that you follow, and then like have the system automatically analyze. I think that's a feature that everybody would appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the research article of the week. It's about chronotypes, and let's have a short chat about chronotypes. The research article of the week is about chronotypes, and the title is Pushing the Limits, Chronotype and Time of the Day Modulate Working Memory Dependent Cerebral Activity. That was released in Frontiers in Neurology in 2015. So they used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to investigate how chronotype and time of the day interacts with working memory at different levels of cognitive load and complexity. So they had 32 young healthy volunteers, 16 extreme morning persons, 16 extreme evening types. They were screened for their sleep-wake timing preferences using morningness, eveningness questionnaire. They were asked to follow the sleep schedule they would spontaneously adapt while free from any social constraint, but to keep their bedtime duration at 8 hours for the week preceding the laboratory part of the study. The subjects then entered the sleep laboratory for 2 nights. The precise schedule of each session was individually adapted to the subject's habitual bedtime. Subjects underwent an fMRI session after wake-up and scheduled timing. And during the fMRI session, they were administered 3 cognitive tasks. The method that was used here was the I guess like dual NBAC, so NBAC testing. I've also done that to kind of measure and understand my reaction time and ability to work with short-term memory. So it's basically a continuous performance task that is commonly used to assess in cognitive neuroscience to measure a part of working memory and working memory capacity. Okay, looking at the results. The results were marginal, but there was a trend for main effect of chronotype. The morning types exhibited slower reaction times than evening types, independent of time of day and working memory load condition. However, if you look at the evening types, the fMRI data analysis shows that the evening types exhibited higher activity in the thalamic area of the brain in the evening hours. We have that here. And the thalamus is associated with functions such as the regulation of consciousness, sleep, and alertness. On the contrary, the morning types had higher responses than evening types in the morning hours in the other measured areas of the brain. When considering the highest cognitive load performance in evening types, their performance improved from morning to evening hours. You can probably see that actually pretty clearly here. So let's look at this one. So filled circles is a morning type, and an open circle is an evening type. So clearly in the third test that they did, the differences became quite significant. So in terms of correct answers, the evening types exercised much better in the evening, but during morning, they were kind of next to each other pretty much. And the other tests, looking at the brain activity, you can see the thalamus much more active in the evening for the evening persons. Like, I mean, with Aura, what you're doing, you're trying to help people understand their own bedtime, understand their best time of the day, you know, to do whatever they need to do and figure out what your chronotype is. So what do you make out of this study?
This study that you were showing, or
yes. Yeah, I mean, just in general, like what comes to your mind from it?
My current like concern is that how much you can like adjust your like own chronotype,
right?
Like, and how much you need to adjust your life and your schedules to fit your chronotype, because okay. It is like extreme evening type of people. They are quite rare, and they have the hardest time. But
you mean hardest time
like in
life in general, because everyone else has a different schedule. But weren't there? I think I saw studies of all these great people who have done great discoveries throughout history. It seems like many of them were evening people.
The artists, like some like inventors, or
exactly.
But not necessarily CEOs or
right.
or like lawyers or medical doctors or. They are like most of them are like
exactly. So your profession might dictate that you have to work specific hours, and that would actually work against you.
I can give you like an example of myself, because I just grinded through all the studying, all the obligatory shifts on ER, etc. when I had to wake up early, and I've never been an early wake up. Even as a child, I would still want to sleep in my normal wake up time is it's like 10 a.m. That's like very typical normal for me.
Yeah, and it seems that like those evening people have evening type of chronotype. They have one thing in common, and it's their ability to sleep well in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's it's significant that their sleep drive is maintained.
Yeah, I could go on until like 12. Like very easily.
Yeah. So I think that's the differentiating factor. And if you can really then get like a proper amount of sleep and get up refreshed, then you can really do it well. But if you are a real extreme case, then you may have hard to get up before midday. So that or before noon. So that can become a challenge then, because you need your morning light exposure to keep the 24-hour cycle in your body.
So are you saying that there seems to be like different on a scale from like extreme morning and extreme evening type? So most of the people go somewhere between that line if you draw a line.
Yes, and they can be even a little bit more flexible then, or at least they can adjust to this. But yes, definitely, and that's why in these scientific studies, so it's like it would be interesting to see like that how like extremely evening type or morning type people they were studied, because if it's like
if we go about chronotypes to Oura Ring, so over here we have sleep timing. So for me it's always on the red because my sleep time is usually around 1 and I wake up at around 9:30 to 10. So is this gonna change for the new ring or the new app, or because that would like improve the sleep score immediately?
Yes. There are like two aspects of good sleep timing, and currently even what you are displaying is only taking this solar timekeeping, that how well you are aligned with the rhythm of the sun, and it has some significance that you to at least to some extent you keep your rhythm aligned with the sun. So it's important as well. But then it seems that in the light of most current research articles, that it's also important to your consistency within your own schedules, and that's depending on which metrics you are looking at. It's sometimes even more important.
Yeah.
So I think we will be like adding. I can't currently exactly that when it's going to take place, but definitely we have been planning to add that element to the sleep timing. So it has like two elements. That even though you are late compared to the sunset, it can still mean that you are following exactly your own consistent rhythm. And the science shows that even though you go to bed at 2 or something like that, if you keep consistent, then you will perform better than if you are changing.
Yeah,
and you can understand this via like better circadian alignment, better aligned sleep stages, because like the first part of the night, deep sleep is dictated by your sleep drive, how tired you are when you go to bed, and REM sleep is governed by circadian rhythms. So if you keep changing the rhythms, then you will not see the best sleep at all. And
that's like probably totally on point.
So we'll be improving that part.
Perfect to hear, because it was nice to see in the new app. Once I downloaded it the first night, it showed me that my optimal sleep time would be between 0:15 to 1 in the night, but it hasn't shown me that information anymore. But here is here's the data of my sleep weekly sleep time. So it's pretty consistent, not too much variation here. So that's what I found to be optimal for me and natural for me.
Yes, we will take this feedback, and we will take the feedback from the recent research articles, and we'll combine those.
Perfect.
That's great. I want to show one app, so that's kind of related to chronotypes and finding your own patterns in life, and that's going to be about the weekly app review. Yeah, the weekly app in question is something called O-Waves. And O-Waves is, I just stumbled upon this app when I was looking at the stuff available for sleep from the Quantified Self community. And someone made this app that basically helps you to make your own plan for your chronotype for your day. And I give you a quick example here. So I'm just going to generate really quickly an example of a day. So this app enables you to make your plan for the day. Okay, here, go to edit mode. So now I'm in the edit mode, and I can basically adjust when I'm working or when I'm eating or when I'm spending time with family and when I'm sleeping. And you can basically really visually in a really nice way kind of look at your day. And I've been doing this kind of thing by automatically generating in my calendar the different activities that I do. But I really like the kind of visual way how this app enables you to design your day. And if we start here from just a blank one, I could start by moving this thing for morning. Here we go. Eat in the morning, then do some work, then maybe
you have a 2-hour
do some
breakfast.
exercise. yeah, that's what I like.
Spanish style.
Maybe work some more and go to sleep at some point. So this app, O-Waves, enables you to design your day, and then you can observe how your day has been on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. You can look at your day plans. You can look at different stats when it comes to, now I don't have much to show here, but basically you would have like an idea of how much you spend time in different activities. This app doesn't yet get data in from different places, but it can sync to Apple Health Kit. But I would love to see, an app like this taking in data from, for example, the Oura Ring or something like that, so that I could more visually look at my day and kind of better understand my own daily patterns. Some people might have seen some articles going around about the different writers and poets and scientists and what their typical day looked like. So they basically went through their memoirs. And for example, Freud might have a cup of coffee in the morning. Some other dude might go for a walk. And that's kind of the typical pattern. So they work those patterns out from their memoirs. But now in these times, in these modern times, people can more clearly quantify and extract the data from the different devices and better understand their day. And I'm always looking at new visualizations and new ways of kind of looking at your day to better understand where you're spending your time. So that's O-Waves. It's free, and I believe it's going to improve as it goes forward. And this right now, it requires quite a lot of like kind of playing around and tinkering and manual input. But once it gets more automated data input, I think it's a nice visualization of your day. What do you think, Hannu?
Yes, it's like always great to see something like new, and it's just like it inspires me a lot, because like I start to think like that if like understanding that what's happening in your body, that like your liver it doesn't know that when to excrete some like digestion hormones, unless you are like repeating some kind of pattern. Like for instance, if you're like, first of all, you need to mostly eat during the day and not during the night.
Yeah.
And then if you have, everybody has experienced that if you always go to eat at certain time, like at noon, then you realize that you get hungry just before the normal like meal time. So your body is ready for that. The liver doesn't see that the food is coming. So it needs to prepare in advance and to be ready when the food comes. And so like always having this kind of stable rhythm or consistent rhythm with many things that the body actually needs to prepare for. So it's optimum, and this is exactly what I talked in before, that if you really want to be like an athlete, it's your real task is not to do the certain amount of trainings. It's to make your day, the whole day, such that it supports your motivation to become a better athlete. And you need to teach your body to prepare for the training so that you can maximize your recovery. And that you get the nutrition and everything is ready for the most important training sessions. So this kind of organizing your day is really important, and we easily think that it's for kids, and good parents take care of their kids and have a stable rhythm, but it's really good for all of us.
Yeah,
totally.
So it reflects the biorhythms that are like innate in us, and the circadian rhythms. And
so the real metrics I would like to see, like the next step where I can already see that where this app is going is to see some of these stability metrics, and then of course real measurements. Some of those things can be like indirectly measured by like a simple wearable devices, and that would like complement this.
Like automatically tell you when you probably were exercising and if that was strength training or something. What I like about this watch, the Garmin watch, is that it has a mode for strength training. So when I go to the gym, I can turn that mode on, and it will actually calculate the sets automatically that I do. And I find that kind of an interesting addition to these trackers that usually are for runners. I'm not that much into running, so I can actually use that for it. What I like about this app, you can design your own icons, you can design your own day. I'm just having a glass of wine there and some avocados and blending up stuff. So I like visual ways of communication and understanding the world around us. But I mean, you pretty much gave us a really good overview of what's going on with sleep, where Oura is, where it's going, where it's heading. And I want to remind people that if you're interested in Oura Ring, I mean, in terms of all the sensors that are in there, it's the most advanced wearable that really ties all these different data points together. What I really like about it is that it really measures also stress and recovery and heart rate variability, and that's really key, I think, for anyone who is super busy, who is hustling, who is running from one place to another. You don't always get like 7-8 hours of sleep. Then the question is, how is your nervous system doing in those times? Or if you're exercising a lot, to better understand your nervous system might be kind of one of the key things to understand if you are overtraining. If you're interested in Oura, the new ring is now out, and they're already shipping the sizing kits, and if you're a latecomer, you can still get a discount with the code BLS. So Bikers Live Show, BLS, that's the code at ouraring.com. You get $50 or euros off as a discount. It's the most sophisticated sleep and recovery tracker. So with that, thank you very much, Hannu, for joining us. I know that you're super busy with the launch of the new ring. And I mean, I'm looking forward to your speech, your talk at the Bikers Summit. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Hannu, and see you in Stockholm.